Welcome to your favorite program, The Power Circuits, from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. This program keeps you informed about the operations of TCN and the role it plays in managing the national electricity grid. Today's episode promises to be informative as this special package brings you highlights of the Nigerian power sector in the first half of the year 2022. Don't miss out on the power circuit in this enriched edition. I am Amara Agugoisi. Leading the power sector this year, the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliyu, inspected some power projects across the country.
While inspecting the 330, 132, 33 kilovolts Damaturu Power Transmission Substation in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital, the Minister reiterated the commitment of the federal government to further strengthen power infrastructure while revealing plans to expand the new substation's capacity to make bulk electricity more readily available for onward distribution to consumers in the Northeast. In Katsina, the Minister of Power visited a substation site where TCN is building a new 330, 132 kilovolt transmission substation, an office complex and a staff quarters to enhance bulk power transmission between Katsina and Kano and its environs. The Minister further restated the commitment of the President Muhammadu Buhari towards developing the Nigerian power sector to become more robust beyond his tenure.
This president is willing and fully committed, President Muhammadu Buhari, to ensure that all these things have been done within this period of his tenure and beyond. Because some of the things, the foundations, once they are laid, you can reap the benefit later on. But we want to assure you that the president is fully committed, and we are also committed to ensuring that we raise the operational capacity of the nation.
The Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, was also in Benue State and held a meeting with Governor Samuel Otom on 330 kilovolt transmission line being constructed to evacuate power from the 40 megawatts Kasimbila hydropower plant in Taraba State.
In fact, it's a working visit. Myself and my colleague and our staffs, we are here in Benue State to inspect an ongoing project of the Ministry of Power under the federal government of Nigeria.
I commend the ministry, and to the larger extent, I commend the president for giving attention to power. That is the right thing to do.
On the part of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, the management and the leadership of the senior staff of Electricity and Allied Companies, SIAC, and the National Union of Electricity Employees, NUI, forged a practical move to sustain the cordial relationship being enjoyed by both the management and the unions. At a meeting with SIAC, the former President General of SIAC, Comrade Chris Okonkwo, commended the management of TCN led by the Managing Director and CEO, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, for key milestones recorded in the power sector. In another separate meeting, the General Secretary of NUI, Comrade Joe Ajero, called for continuous collaborations from the management to sustain industrial harmony.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, in the first half of this year tackled cases of power assets vandalism and sabotage while sensitizing members of the public on how they can maximize safety measures, especially to safeguard power lines and other infrastructure from fire occurrence and vandalism.
There was an instance of a petroleum pipeline fire incident caused by vandalism in Lagos, which affected the power transmission line and caused 5 towers to collapse in the line route. But TCN quickly mobilized and fixed the fault. In Okuiboku near Uyo in Akwa Ibom State, vandals brought down a tower along the 330 kilovolt Ikotekbene to Calabar transmission line.
You can see it from here. That some of tower members were removed people will go and sell them for peanuts. So it's not a fault. We have evidence, the notes were removed, tower members were removed, and then they watched the tower to fall. And when it fell, it tripped the whole system.
Again, TCN quickly mobilized contractors and had it fixed, while conducting town hall and series of consultations to forestall any occurrence.
Did you know that all the areas around a power transmission line has been properly acquired by the federal government and is termed the right of way of the line? That means no activity such as trading, building or soil excavation is allowed within this area. Security operatives in Abuja recently apprehended suspects in a case of soil excavation at a section of a 132 kilovolts transmission line at the Kuje area of the Federal Capital Territory.
One of the core mandates of this corps is for the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure. And the tower that has been one of the very critical national assets of this country, the corps has a mandate to protect it.
Join the government in tackling this menace by reporting such cases to the nearest security agency, and you would be glad you did. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, continued on a good footing, recording key progress in its project deliverables.
Representatives of the French Development Agency, AFD, led by the AFD Country Director, Mr. Xavier Moreau, along with the TCN Project Implementation Unit team, led by the AFD Project Manager, TCN, Engineer Jane Okemini, inspected the Abuja Ring Fence Transmission Project. The 5 substation projects and its associated power transmission lines seek to improve bulk power delivery capacity in the Nigerian capital city. The project sites visited are the 150 MVA 330 132 kV New Apo transmission substation, the 2 by 150 MVA 132 33 kV Lugbe West Main transmission substation, the 2 by 60 MVA 132 33 kV transmission substation at Wumba Kuje and the gas insulated substation at Gwarimpa. In a move to advance the control of the national electricity system, the company also heightened automation of transmission networks nationwide for real-time monitoring of system operations by deploying the stop-gap communication technology at the National Control Center, NCC Oshogbo. The General Manager, NCC Oshogbo, Engineer Balarabe Abdullahi, also disclosed that TCN was implementing the delivery of a second National Control Center project in Oshogbo. And in making history of a quantum leap in the power sector, TCN took delivery of 15 new power substation transformers, which it deployed across various power transmission substation sites to boost bulk power transmission. The Assistant General Manager, Material Control and Stores at TCN Headquarters Stores in Ojo, Lagos, Engineer Pius Unwashi, gave insight into the delivery of the power equipment.
What came in was we had 10 60 MVA transformers that came in, and out of that 10, we've already sent out, we've issued 5 already, remaining 5. Then another 100 MVA. Some of them have come in, as you have seen. 4 of them are in now, and the others are on the road coming with the 150 MVA. As you can see, this one is 60 MVA. That's the old stock that we have. This is not the present one that have been brought in. This is 100 MVA. As you can look over there, those ones on the trailers there are the 100 MVA, and some of them are outside waiting for them to come in and discharge.
In February, President Muhammadu Buhari personally commissioned a 2 by 150 and 2 by 60 MVA 330, 132, 33 kilovolts Akuruba transmission substation in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. The TCN head, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, was right there with his team as TCN now operates the substation. In the Lagos region, the Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN, through a World Bank-funded power transmission expansion and upgrade project, is massively upgrading power transmission substations across the Lagos region of the company to optimize bulk power delivery. Engineer Jiboye Oluwagbenga, the regional transmission manager of the Lagos region, said there are about 10 of such World Bank-funded projects. Engineer Jiboye said the projects are in Ijora, Egbin, Alagbon, Itere, among others. TCN is not resting on its oars while ensuring that every state gets increased power transmission capacity. The people of Ondo and Ekiti states will soon begin to experience significant improvement in their power supply, as the company in May said over 96 megawatts of additional electricity will come to Akure through the new 330, 132, 33 kilovolts Akure transmission substation. The Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider, TCN, Engineer Victor Adewumi, was there to assess the state of the facility at the instance of the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliu.
This project is ready. It's like 98% completed. It's ready. As a matter of fact, I know we have done pre-commissioning tests of this station. But by the time we want to now properly energize it, we are going to do another commissioning test to make sure that all the equipment are still in proper state. We are hoping that in the next 4 or 5 months, we'll be able to commission it.
Away from the southwest, the federal government says it is committed to delivering 2 units of 330 kilovolt power transmission substations in Katsina and Kano, along with the transmission line to raise power supply in the states. This disclosure came from the Managing Director and CEO of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, when he inspected the ongoing projects at the instance of the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliu. He spoke about the expected impact of the 2 units of 150 MVA, 2 units of 60 MVA power transformers at the 330, 132 kilovolt Katsina substation projects.
We are now supplying Daura from the 132 old line we have, but by the time we finish this one, we move the Daura feeder to this 330 new substation so that the supply will be better.
At the 132-33 kV Kankia substation, Engineer Abdulaziz inspected the materials for the 330 kV Kano to Katsina transmission line. The team then proceeded to Kano, and on arrival to the 330, 132, 33 kV Remin Zakara substation project, Engineer Abdulaziz said the substation has 2 units of 150 MVA transformers and 2 units of 60 MVA transformers, noting that installation works has reached a very high level of completion.
We have started this project some years back, and it has reached a very high level of completion. If you can see the transformers, the switch gears, everything here is now almost 30%. And this is the second 330 substation we are going to have in Kano. Everybody knows that after Lagos in Nigeria, the next city is Kano. But Kano is having just one 330 substation, which is not enough. So TCN decided to build another substation just to help the other area that are not well fed. So this station is almost 80% completed, and we are just waiting to bring the transmission line that will power from this place.
Also in Kano, Engineer Abdulaziz made a stopover at the newly completed 30 MVA 132-33 kilovolts Bichi transmission substation in Bichi Emirate, which is slated for commissioning shortly by the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliu. But that was not all. The team moved to Kaduna, where the TCN head inspected a 330 kilovolts Kudenda to Mando power transmission line project. Engineer Abdulaziz said the project, which has reached 80% completion level, was to ensure that generated energy can be evacuated from the 215 megawatts Kudenda power plant in Kaduna to the national electricity grid.
The review continues. Don't go away.
Do you know that vandalizing power infrastructure and stealing its components have negative impact on government's efforts towards improving the nation's power sector? Say no to vandalism. Vandalism leaves TCN with the enormous task of re-erecting and restringing damaged power transmission lines and towers, which cost millions of naira to rebuild. Money that should be used for transmission expansion projects to make increased bulk electricity readily available to electricity consumers through the distribution companies. Do you know that vandals are destroying our common national assets, funded with taxpayers' monies, and negatively impeding our common socio-economic progress? Say no to vandalism. Do not condone vandals, because stealing parts of electricity transmission towers and cables disrupts the transmission of generated power to distribution load centers, threatening the national grid, your comfort, and ultimately the nation's economic growth. So don't just walk away. Be involved. Do something when you observe suspicious activities around transmission installations or even vandals at work. Don't just walk away. Report to any transmission office closest to you or any security outfit around your vicinity. Say no to vandalism. TCN enjoins you to work with us to stop the willful destructions of our collective national assets as we work to transmit increased bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner. This message is brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria. TCN, transmitting bulk electricity for national development.
April was a good time for the TCN family as President Muhammadu Buhari confirmed Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz as the substantive Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the company, with effect from the 4th of April 2022.
TCN recorded critical milestones under his watch, along with 4 executive directors, bringing to bear his over 25 years of engineering experience and responsibility as a project manager. His flagship strategy was the execution of the Nigerian Electricity Grid Maintenance, Expansion and Rehabilitation Project, NEGMAP.
In another historic feat, the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliyu, in June inaugurated the board members of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
The minister, during the inauguration ceremony at the Powerhouse in Abuja, tasked the board members on commitment towards enabling TCN to deliver its mandate on bulk electricity transmission. Speaking on behalf of the board members, Chairman of the new TCN Board of Directors, Bukar Bula Mabuni, lauded President Muhammadu Buhari for the appointment, noting that they will live up to expectation. The Managing Director of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, was excited with this, saying the new board will bring the much-needed support to the management. Shortly afterwards, the board and the TCN management held a meeting as its operations began immediately. Just recently, the board and the TCN also organized a retreat where more active directions were adopted in advancing the power transmission mandate for Nigeria.
With the commitments and the determination already shown by the members of this governing board, combined with the professional management team of TCN, headed by a competent managing director in the person of Engineer Suleiman Ahmed Abdulaziz, with the cooperation of other critical stakeholders, TCN will turn around for the better this time around.
Teamwork, they say, is a lubricant for attaining excellence, and teamwork may be across organizations. TCN demonstrates this in perfect sense as it routinely holds sessions for the electricity market participants in the Nigerian electricity supply industry.
Operators in the power sector comprising the officials of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, officials of the power generation companies, GENCOs, and their counterparts from the distribution companies, DISCOs, converged in Lagos in April for the biannual Joint Generation, Transmission and Distribution Sector Planning Meeting. They made silent decisions on how to drive the power sector for the rest of the year. At another collaborative meeting, the Managing Director and CEO of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, tasked market participants to commit to the grid code and other rules to raise the bar for national electricity grid management and performance scorecards. Participants at the Independent System Operator of TCN and Power Sector Operators Interactive Meeting on Grid Management and Market Performance, which was held in Abuja, resolved to leverage on synergy to set new milestones on electric power supply to consumers in Nigeria.
During the course of the first half of this year, the West African Power Pool WAP held the second joint ministerial steering meeting in Niamey, the capital of Niger.
To further strengthen the ties that exist between the generation and the transmission segments of the power sector value chain, the TCN head, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, paid a courtesy visit to heads of power generation companies in Abuja, where he advocated for synergy among stakeholders in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. Towards a comprehensive alignment of service provision in the power sector through the service level agreement regime, TCN held a sensitization program for representatives of the distribution companies and generation companies on its enhanced electricity grid system portal. In the quest for advancing the Nigerian national electricity grid, stakeholders in the Nigerian electricity market recently converged in Lagos for a two-day metering code review panel held at the instance of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC). Still on collaborations, the Japanese Agency for International Cooperation (JICA) recently reiterated commitment to supporting projects that would improve power supply in Nigeria. The new chief representative of Nigerian office JICA, Mr. Yuzuru Susumi, stated this when he led a delegation to the headquarters of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, in Abuja.
As the federal government continues to do its best to provide improved power supply, the managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, has assured that more investments are being made in the transmission segment to keep its capacity growing.
The meeting was personally attended by the Nigeria's Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliu, who actively participated in the session in efforts to integrate energy infrastructure in West Africa. Chairman, Executive Board of WAP and Managing Director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, was also in attendance. The WAP also broke ground for the commencement of the North Core Regional Interconnection Transmission Project. Shortly after, WAP held a third WAP Member Utilities Directors of Finance meeting in Abuja, where the Chairman Executive Board of WAP, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, harped on the need for more funding from member countries towards implementing ongoing regional power projects. And at the 53rd meeting of the WAP Executive Board in Cotonou, Benin Republic, the West African Power Pool intensified plans for a regional electricity market. Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, the Chairman Executive Board of WAP and TCN boss in Nigeria, revealed that the WAP Secretariat was being restructured in preparation for the launch of the regional electricity markets. When the regional market comes on stream, power operators will be able to sell excess electricity to utility firms across member countries and earn foreign exchange.
That was the first half of the journey so far this year at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and the power sector at large. The company seeks your support towards sustaining the delivery of its power transmission mandate. You can do this by keeping your eyes on safeguarding power infrastructure against all acts of vandalism, sand excavation, or any other form of encroachment of power substations and their associated transmission lines. We have made this episode and all others accessible for you on the TCN YouTube channel. The company has these other platforms to take feedback on its operations from you, our esteemed viewer. I am Amara Agogoisi. Thanks for sticking with us on this program all round.